Welcome to the SuperCharged video show, where I interview interesting and inspiring people right inside the Tesla.
It's off. I'm in the car here with Troy Henson. Troy, who are you and what are you all about?
I'm Troy Henson.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. What am I? I'm a business guy.
You are a business guy.
Yeah, I run a business. My business is helping business owners to grow their business.
What a fun business that is.
That sounds like a fun business.
It is, really.
Yeah, it actually has been. I mean, you and I have talked over the years a lot about business.
Absolutely.
You're a classic entrepreneur.
Thank you. And you've been a big help to me as well.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Well, this is a cool idea that you came up with here, and so I'm excited to see how this whole thing works out and all the people that you get to meet and the adventure you have.
It should be an adventure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your adventure.
Okay. My adventure. So you know what the fun thing that I've been talking a lot with people about lately is the code word or the buzzword is hacks.
Oh,
you know,
right.
Like everyone's hacking everything. There used to be computer hacking, and then there's like life hacking. You heard about the life hacking stuff? I don't know a whole lot about that, but there's life hacking and house hacking. You can like shopping or like cooking hacking. Anyway, so we started talking about business hacking.
Right.
And that's been interesting. So I just put out actually just sent out a video earlier this week, and I'll put it up on my blog, on my website. But it was about, because I talk to a lot of people just in general networking and business, and the response I get a lot is asking about their business, and they say, "Oh, I'm busy." I'm like, how you doing, Steve? How things going? "Oh, I'm busy."
Who isn't busy?
Who isn't busy? Exactly.
Right.
So I've kind of thinking from this hacking perspective, I started asking, well, what kind of busy are you? Are you good busy or are you bad busy?
Right.
Because I realize there's a huge difference between being good busy and bad busy. I mean, I know people that are busy and making a lot of money, and I know people that are busy and they're not making any money. They're just spinning their wheels. So I figured that's a good topic to kind of think about for people, is if you're busy, like, what kind of busy are you?
Yeah.
And that's when we were creating hacks around it. What's a good busy hack? You know, how can you hack your busyness?
Very cool. So what are some of the hacks you've come up with?
Okay.
Anything you can talk about?
Yeah. I think one of the hacks, this is huge. A lot of times people that are busy they're running around chasing the things that are most urgent for the day. So they're what I call the priorities. They do the things that are really urgent, but they're not necessarily the most important things to do.
Okay, wait. So separate importance and
urgency?
Priority. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I call them priorities. They're priorities. So a priority would be something that is, I might have to reply to a client and follow up to an email, follow up to a phone call that is a client about customer service stuff. I might have to run an errand and pick something up. I might have to, kind of just do the general things on my list that keep my business going.
Right.
Those are priorities. They keep the business going. But the difference is, the reason why they're bad busy is because if those are the only things that you do every day, your business will not grow. It'll keep going, but it won't keep growing.
Right, okay.
Okay, so let's look at the other side, because I think this is easier to explain. The things that are really high on importance, but maybe low on urgency, those are like the payoff activities. Those are the things that really make your business grow. And so it's easy to get caught up doing the priority stuff and not get into the payoff stuff. So here's the hack that I figured out. Since my entire day could be running off of priorities, where I'm just thinking, if I get them all done, then I can get to this payoff. At the end of the day, they're all done, but there's another list that's still there to do.
Right.
So I thought, all right, what if instead of trying to get everything done, then work on the payoffs, what if we did a payoff activity? We picked just one thing, and we did that first.
Right.
First and foremost, there's the hack, is I got to pick one thing that's the most important thing that will really, really grow my business, and I've got to do that one thing first thing in the day. And if I did that first thing in the day, if I did that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 5 major payoff activities I would do in a week. Added up over a month, that's like 4 weeks. You got 20 of them you're doing in a month. I think most people are doing like 2 or 3 a month.
Oh, it's totally. And isn't that amazing how one simple little shift like that can like completely change your whole thing?
Completely business hacked your whole thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So the other hack that I would do with that, it would be to, instead of working off of a to-do list, is I would suggest working off of a calendar. So if you've got a to-do list of stuff to do, put those items in your calendar. And then I work off the calendar. So if I've got like today's, Thursday, and I've got a list of things that I want to do for the day, instead of just working down my list, take those things and first put them into the calendar and the time frame that you can do them. So you say, all right, that'll take me 20 minutes. Okay, put it in for 20 minutes. That'll take me 2 hours. Put that in for 2 hours. You'll see at the end of the day when you add up the time, you'll know that, hey, there's 90% of this list I am not going to get to today. So instead of dragging the list around, trying to get to it, I can go, hey, I'm not going to do that today.
It's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to, there's no way it's going to happen when you put it in your calendar. Well, then you can get, what that does is it gives people a more realistic view of what they actually do and what their time is.
Okay.
And instead of dragging around the ball and chain of a to-do list, you just plug it all into the calendar. You'll probably find that you've got to start scheduling out. Instead of just scheduling today, you'll schedule tomorrow, and then the next day, and then pretty soon you know what your week is and what your month is, and then you know what you can plan for.
And then you've got a much better handle on what's realistic and what isn't.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that happens to me where I think, okay, I'm going to do 75 things, and come on. How about 5?
Yeah. And you get 5 done, there's 75 left, and you feel like you didn't do anything for the day.
Right.
I hate that.
Yeah.
But you really did. And when you look at it and you go, okay, well, the 5 things I did, each of them took 2 hours apiece. I actually worked 10 hours on these projects. That's a full day.
Yeah.
Whereas other days you may feel like you get a lot done because you did 30 things that all took you 10 minutes. So I think those are huge hacks just for productivity wise.
Yeah.
And small business owners and entrepreneurs, anything we can do to be more productive is huge.
Absolutely. So is kind of one of the things you do is kind of help people just point out things, simple things like that you, when you're doing them, you don't even see the fact that you're doing it that way, and you can say, hey.
Well, this has been my philosophy for years, is I realize like everybody wants to make more money. Okay, so how do you make more money? Well, you've got to be more productive, and a lot of times instead of thinking about being more productive, people just think, if I want to make more money, I've got to work harder. Okay, and we all know the adage, you can't work harder, you got to work smarter. But I don't know very many people that actually put that into play.
Right.
They're like, I said, okay, so if you want to double your income for the year, double the size of your business, increase what you're gonna make, and I say, how are you gonna do that? And they're like, well, we just need to focus more. We need to work hard. I'm like, okay, how about we just go the complete opposite? How about we not focus anymore, and you work at about 65 or 75% of the effort you're putting in now, and double your business. That's the only way you can double your business, because I don't know anyone who's working 100%, because most people they're already putting 100% effort. They're not going to put 200% effort in. You can't.
Right.
There's just no way.
The math doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So we actually, if you want to double your business, you actually have to find a way to get what you're doing done today with about 60 to 75% of the effort you're putting in. You have to. That's way more fun when we were talking about it.
Yeah, I like that method.
Oh yeah, it's like, hey Steve, I want you to double your business. Oh okay. Well, does that mean I have to double my work? No, we actually get to work less.
Wait, what?
Yeah, wait. That sounds like a good idea. That's the fun part.
Very cool. Very cool. I like it.
Yeah.
What other? Do you have another hack for us?
Let's see. Okay, so that was a productivity hack. Let's talk about, what other kinds. So productivity is huge. Organization is huge. Focus is huge. We kind of those hacks will help with that. What about maybe? Here's one. I think a lot of people in business, especially business owners, have a tough time finding good people and getting good people into their organization and keeping good people. So that's another topic I talk about a lot, because you might have heard that idea where people say that it's hard to get good people, it's hard to find good people.
Yeah.
So I don't know that this is so much of a hack as it is just a way better strategy. Most people, when they put in the, when they think about needing to hire somebody new, they put on their to-do list, which we already talked about, don't do that, right? We put on their to-do list, hire new staff, right? Whether it's hire an admin or hire a new sales guy, right? And it becomes a to-do list item. And what ends up happening is then they kind of do the things to do that. Like maybe they'll place an ad, they have an interview, and then they hire somebody, and then they cross it off, and that's done. Only to find out, 2 or 3 weeks later, let alone 5 or 6 weeks later or months, that's not a good person. It wasn't a good fit.
Man.
Right?
Oh.
And so then they're like, oh, well, it's tough to find good people. And I'm like, no, it's your strategy's wrong. It's not a to-do list item. If you want to hire somebody, create a hiring process, right? You've got to have steps in the process. So I think of it more like create a project out of it instead of a to-do list item out of it. I think people don't spend nearly enough time trying to find good people. And what's more valuable, finding one good person that can bring in, or service 50 clients or more, or finding one good client? Well,
yeah, I mean, one's going to be a lot more beneficial over the long haul.
Yeah, you get a good person, that's more valuable even than finding a good client. But we spend probably 1,000 times more effort and energy designing the systems to find a good client than we do to find a good person.
Right.
So build the system to find a good person. Have steps in it where you get to do a personality test, have a scoring system so that you can rank them and score them, have a follow-up process. I always say, don't consider somebody a part of your team until they've been in the organization for at least a year.
Really?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily tell them that, but there's a lot to learn about somebody. It's like getting in a relationship. So, if I bring somebody in, what are they going to be focusing on for the first probably 30 to 60 to 90 days? They're learning your system, they're learning how to do the job, and then they're trying to do the job. And usually for the first 60 to 90 days, they've got their best foot forward. They're putting in,
right.
They should,
oh, yeah.
right? Well, that's not what they really are.
Yeah.
That's like dating somebody and,
right. That's the first 3 dates.
Yeah, getting married after the first month and going, wow, we've had such a great time. Like, you have no idea who this person is.
Right.
So I would say give them a year. So you've got a first 90-day period, and then you do an evaluation and give them the secrets to win. And then they've got the second 90-day period, which should be kind of more like focusing on production. Because they've already learned the system. So then they've got some benchmarks they have to hit. And if they can't hit those benchmarks, you don't want them out of the, they're not too high. They're easy to hit. But if they can't hit them, get rid of them.
Right.
Because people hang on to people way too long.
Well, and do you believe also in more frequent reviews and things where you can, stop and say, okay, how are we doing right now?
Yeah. Scorecards.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm actually working with a client right now, and he's like, Troy, I need to get my scorecards dialed in. That's what I want. I want a scorecard for every person in every position so that I can rank them. I can see what their progress is. I can chart it over time.
Right.
And so we've got to create a scorecard that is easy for the person to complete so that it doesn't become a burden.
Chore, yeah.
Right. And that it gives us the right information so that the business owner can go in, check the scorecard, check the points, and see in a snapshot how are people doing.
Right.
I had another client that we've been working together for a couple years, and when we started, we created a scorecard for her sales, and she really built up her momentum fast. I mean, she went from making like 40, 50 grand a year up to probably doubled that within about 6 months. Right?
That'll work.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a great investment in her time and energy, right? Doubling her income.
Yeah.
Kept it going. She rolled with that. It just kept growing through the following year. Well, this year, because things have been going, she had neglected to keep up with the scorecard, and the momentum started dipping.
No.
Luckily, we have some checks and balances, which we caught it before too long, but we caught it after there was a couple months of dip.
Right.
And we're like, okay, wait, what was missing here that allowed that to happen.
Right.
We don't want months of dip.
Right. Well, and that's almost the same. That's the microcosm of the employee. You're not letting them dip for months and months and months.
Right.
You're catching it quickly.
Right.
And letting them know what the expectations are so they can meet them and exceed them and all that good stuff.
And we want them to win, so I think it's crucial to set it up so that they can win and so that they know how to win. So this brings up another piece of like, well, I got my staff that's asking me for a raise, you know, and the owner just laughs, going, why would I give you a raise? Why would somebody ask you for a raise if they didn't know how to get it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, if your staff doesn't know how to get a raise, they're randomly making up their own criteria. Then they come to you and ask for a raise. You don't give it to them, and now you've got a less than effective employee because they think they're getting shortchanged. Whose fault is that? Stupid employee or ineffective management system?
I'm gonna go with management.
Right. Of course, the managers won't say that. I'll go stupid employee.
Right.
Kids these days.
Yeah. Oh, these millennials.
The millennials, they expect everything and do nothing. It's like, well, did you set them up to win?
Right.
Did you set the expectations? Here's how you can get a raise. If you accomplish these things, and give them a checklist, give them a scorecard, you know?
Well, how cool would that be to even say, hey, okay, if you get to this point, I want you to come into my office and say, I want a raise.
Yes.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yes.
Everyone wins there.
Everyone wins. I'm happy to pay people more. You should be happy to pay people more if they hit the marks.
Right.
You know? I don't pay them more just because they want it. I mean, everyone's got to be responsible for the success of the business. Business grows, you make more money, I make more money.
Exactly.
It's easy.
Business is so easy.
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
It's so easy to screw up.
Right. And it's easy when you have a good coach.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's easy to screw up. It is. It's easy to overlook. There's so many things.
Well, there's so many balls in the air.
So many balls in the air.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like, I was, here's a quick story. Can I tell us this?
Yeah, I love stories. This is where we are a story factory.
So, all right.
Right now.
So this was a story that I came up with. Have you ever been down to Havasupai?
You know what? Unbelievably, I have not. And it's one of the most amazing places I've heard and seen amazing pictures.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've been down there twice. The way to get down there, there's literally only 3 ways to get in there. You walk, hike, you can take a horse or a mule, or you can take a helicopter. And so the 2 times that I went, we hiked in. And then when you're hiking, you have 2 options. You can either carry all your gear in. So we were in there for, I think, 3 nights, 2 or 3 nights. So you can either carry all your gear in, or you can put your gear on a mule and they can pack it in for you.
Right.
Okay. So we carried all our gear in just to make it more challenging. And, and I don't know, we were dumb. And I highly recommend it. It actually added something to the whole experience. But so we're hiking in, and you start off the trip by about 1.5 miles of switchbacks down the hill, which you're thinking down the hill, no big deal. When you got 50, 60 pounds on your back, even going downhill sucks.
Right.
So my legs are burning after the first 100 feet.
Really?
Yeah, they're burning. I'm like, oh my God. And I've got 12 miles of this. Not the hills, but 12 miles of hiking. So you get down to the bottom, so that's about 1.5 miles, and then you got about 10.5 miles into the little village, and then from the village you got another 1.5 miles to 2 miles down to the campground. And then when you're down there, you set up camp, and it's not like you're just lounging around, which you kind of are lounging around, but even lounging around, if you want to go get water, there's water down there, but it's on a little pipe that comes out of the side of the hill. And the camp, depending on where your campsite is, you could hike 3/4 to a mile just to get from your campsite to the water. You got to do that 2 or 3 times a day. So it's not like you're just sitting around.
No.
I mean, you're hiking back and forth, and then you go play in the water, you're jumping and you're cliff diving and climbing on things, and it's not, you're not just laying around. It's not glamping.
No.
Okay, so here's the point of the story. So legs are burning, get down there, 3 days down there, hiking around. I probably dropped like 8 or 9 pounds, just from that full activity. And then when you're done with all that, you've got the reward of hiking out. On the day that you're hiking out, packing up all your gear, hiking out, and then at the end, the cherry on the top, which is that 1.5 miles back up the hill to then get in your car to drive your 4 hours back to Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So here's where the point of the story comes in. I'm on the way out. We're hiking out. My legs are burning with every single step. Okay.
The lactose is
The lactose.
just killing you.
Yeah. And I'm going, how on earth am I going to get up that hill? Okay, and I've still got 10 miles to go. Remember I told you, there's only one way in. Okay, there's only one way. There's one path.
Right.
There's no other way to do it. And my brain is thinking, how do I get out of this? Every step, how do I get out of this?
What's a shortcut?
Yeah, what's a shortcut? How do I, okay, there's mule trains that are going by. I could stop them. I could pay them $100, give them my pack, and then I get at least walk without, 50 extra pounds that I'm carrying. Okay, so that's one option. What other options do I have? I could just give up. I could go back to the town and get in the helicopter.
Right.
But I'm already halfway there, so that doesn't help. Okay, so I actually literally started thinking to myself, how can I hurt myself? There's an option. I could twist my ankle, and physically be unable to complete the journey, to which then either somebody would have to carry me, they'd have to put me on a donkey, or they'd have to come get me in an Airlife helicopter.
You're getting creative here.
My brain was just doing it.
Right.
Because I was in pain.
Right.
I couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
And literally the only thing that I had to do was just put one foot in front of the other. That's it. Which I did. Made it to the top. It was great. Jumped up and down. I was so happy that I did it. I would probably go back and do it again.
Right. Knowing that the same thing's going to happen.
The same thing's going to happen, right? The pain. But it was so fun. The experience was so exhilarating to say, I did it. Now, I may next time choose not to carry my own pack. I don't know. So then I started thinking, okay, how does this relate to business? So in business, right, if I know that when I'm feeling pain, I try to create ways to get out of the pain. And when I'm climbing out of the Grand Canyon, I literally only have one trail to follow and one option. Okay?
Right.
In business, I don't have one option. Every step we take, I've got 100 options. I got infinite options. I got 30 options. So I take 2 steps and then I've got a choice. And if I'm in pain, I'm going to try to find the least painful choice. And I think that's where we get in stuck. Because we let the pain and the fear and the frustration and the anxiety and we let that get in and stop us. It gets in our way. And instead of just getting on the one trail that we decide we're supposed to be on and just taking one step after another.
Right. So actually having more options makes it harder.
Way harder.
Yeah, because then you have to you're making a decision at every step. Well, do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do this? Do I do that? Rather than just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. I had a client the other day that wanted to, was coming up with, he's a classic entrepreneur, new ideas, got this idea, hey, Troy, I want to do this. I'm like, no, don't do that. It's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. Let's finish what we're doing first.
Right.
Let's write the idea down, keep a journal, one thing at a time. Let's get this done. Then you can go do that. Oh, thanks, Troy. Just as simple to have somebody around that can say, great idea. Let's figure out the best time and place to implement that idea and not get stuck chasing rabbits or chasing squirrels.
Oh, God. That's a national pastime for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. There's an idea. Let's do it.
Well, cool. Well, how can people get a hold of you, or what's your website and all that?
My website is evocexcellence.com. So it's EVOC excellence.com. So you can go through there. You can reach me. You can reach me at Troy Henson at evocexcellence.com.
Cool. That's awesome. And you know what we'll do? We'll put all your links and stuff in the show notes so people can click there. They don't have to try and memorize it from our little talk here.
Yeah.
But, thanks a lot, man. It was awesome catching up with you.
Yeah, cool. I didn't tell you about my dream last night.
Oh, no?
Yeah. I had a dream that I was dating Taylor Swift.
Oh, all right. We'll add this in.
I don't know if I want this on the video. I just woke up this morning. I'm like, wow. I just had a dream that I was Taylor Swift's boyfriend, which is funny because I don't really have a thing for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going, hey, Taylor. She's fine, but she's a few years younger than I am. But it was pretty funny because it wasn't like she wasn't my girlfriend, but we were in the courting stage. where we get so in my dream, I'm like plugged into her entourage while she's going to do all these things, and it's not like just me and her. It's me.
So
with,
are you part of the entourage, or are you the boyfriend?
I'm like the new guy
in the entourage
because I'm not
you're
really,
the boyfriend.
but I'm not really the boyfriend yet. I'm just the interest.
Okay.
So she doesn't really know me yet, and she doesn't. But there's a part of it. So she's interested. I don't know how I got to this point. But yeah, so she's interested, but she's not really interested. But like, she's got to maintain this image because, you know, she's a famous person.
She's Taylor Swift.
Right. She's this famous person. So, oh my God, it's embarrassing. So we're going to these different things. Like, we go to this, should we do like it's like a concert day. So she's going to do a concert that day, and I'm just tagging along. So everybody's there with her while she's doing the mic check, and she's doing this, and I'm just kind of hanging out there, and people are like, well, who are you? And I'm just a friend, you know. And then when there's moments, she kind of steals away and comes in, like, sits down and talks to me for a little bit. Then we have, like, you know, talk about stuff, and then she goes, and then her assistant's like there. So I'm like having to get to know the whole family. I'm having to get to know all the people that are there. Oh my God, it was weird. And then we're doing, so then there's that, and there's the concert, and then we're at the VIP. Like, this was such an intricate dream. I mean,
oh man.
So I'm at the concert, I'm in the front row, you know, I'm there with all the people, and then we're backstage, like different things. And then the next day we're doing like appearances. She's got to go do these appearances, and I'm just tagging along. You know, and then she'll stop and come over and we'll chit chat, and you know, she doesn't really know me and I don't really know her, but it's kind of interesting. And
dreams are so crazy.
They're crazy, man. God. Then I wake up like, why Taylor Swift?
Was that real? Was that
yeah. Why her?
Why her? Why now?
Yeah. Why that one? Why not somebody that's closer to my own age? But I don't know. It was real interesting how real it was, though.
Yeah.
And getting plugged into that world. I don't live in the world of A-list celebrity fame, and I was literally in my dream in all of that. I mean, I remember standing in line at a buffet. We're at a buffet that's like backstage to, like, I don't know, like Letterman show or something. She's gonna go on the show, and we're just all there, me and like 3 or 4 other guys, part of the, not necessarily guys, but people are part of the entourage, and we're going through this buffet line for they're feeding us, like in the green room, and I ran into a guy, so I'm there, and this guy goes, hey, I know you. And I'm like, me? You know me? He goes, yeah. He was the chef and the thing. He goes, yeah. You grew up in Bend, Oregon, and you did it. And I'm like, holy cow.
Dreams for me, they always end up in a completely different place than they started.
Yeah.
I mean, they make no sense.
They make no sense.
They make no sense.
Yeah.
I've always said I would love if I could have a video recording of my dream, so I could go back and watch it and pick out all the weird, crazy stuff in the dream.
If we could GoPro dreams, that would be cool.
That would be sweet.
That would be epic.
Well, maybe that's what that Oculus Rift stuff's going to all be about. You know?
Yeah. I've heard about that.
Does anything look weirder, though, than someone wearing one of those things? You know, they're like...
Yeah. Yeah, I've never... God, these are comfy.
You think?
Yeah. I think they're comfy.
Yeah, they're...
I mean, you and I are big guys.
We're big guys. We are.
I don't feel like I don't feel cramped. You got plenty of room. You could sleep in here.
You can. I have.
How many times?
I think 3.
3 times? Like, were you on a road trip camping?
Twice I was, and once I was just in my garage testing out the Tesla hotel.
Which is normal.
Which is normal.
Most people sleep in their car in their own garage, I think.
Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously.